For the first year of a child's life, parenting often follows a peaceful, predictable rhythm. You feed, you rock, you soothe. And then, around the second birthday, that peace suddenly shatters. Biology drives this initial phase. In the state of symbiosis, an infant perceives the parent as their entire world. At a cellular level, the child operates as a synchronized unit with the parent, often unaware of where their own body even begins. Dr. Shefali Tsabary identifies the end of this phase as the challenge of a lifetime. As that symbiotic bond breaks, the terrible twos arrive, characterized by sudden screaming, intense defiance, and a desperate grab for independence. This behavioral crash signifies a necessary developmental break. The child is moving away from oneness to discover their own unique biological and psychological signature. When this chaos begins, most parents react with panic. We instinctively try to regain control by overpowering the toddler. We yell, we punish, or we demand compliance to force them back into that initial cooperative state. This creates what Dr. Tsabary calls the physics of reactivity. When a parent meets a child's chaotic energy with their own anger, the two forces collide and multiply, resulting in a tsunami of emotion. Toddlers are frequently punished during these moments for biological factors they cannot regulate. A meltdown is often the only way a child can communicate that they are exhausted, hungry, or simply overwhelmed by the world. Attempting to forcefully discipline a child who is biologically losing it only adds drama to the disconnect. It leaves the parent in a vacuum of control, requiring a different approach to restore stability. To find that stability, we have to look at the shift in the child's brain. For the first time, they are experiencing themselves as a separate person from the parent, with their own unique desires. This phase operates on a planet all its own. The rules of infancy have vanished, replaced by untethered impulses, a budding sense of authority, and a wild, limitless imagination. Because the toddler is discovering their own boundaries, they must relentlessly test the world around them. They are trying to find where their power ends and where the real world begins. These defiant moments represent the child's first experiments in identity. They are pushing against the parent to see if the world around them is stable enough to hold their emerging self. To support this development, the parent's role must evolve. You move from being a symbiotic nurturer into what Dr. Tsabary calls a container. Being a container means providing a firm, unshakable boundary. You allow the child the space to have their big emotions, but you remain a calm, peripheral observer rather than getting sucked into the reactivity. This works through antidotal energy. When the child projects chaos, the parent consciously provides the exact opposite emotional state to neutralize the situation. If the child brings anxiety, the parent brings supreme calm. If the child brings aggression, the parent brings centeredness. Establishing this unmoving energetic boundary provides the consistent structure a toddler needs to eventually learn how to regulate their own emotions. The difficulty of containment lies in the parent's ability to manage their own internal triggers. While the toddler screams, the parent is often battling their own feelings of helplessness or past programming. In this case study, a mother named Stephanie snaps at her fighting sons. Her reaction isn't actually about the boy's behavior. She is displacing her own childhood feelings of disempowerment onto them because she hasn't faced her own emotional patterns. Effective containment requires emotional autonomy. This is the parent's ability to separate their own needs and baggage from the reality of the child's behavior in the present moment. When a parent lacks this autonomy, they end up battling the child's spirit. This forces the child to spend their internal energy defending themselves against the parent, energy that should be used for play, daydreaming, and natural growth. A conscious parent learns to meet the next meltdown by remaining neutral. Like a solid cliff face meeting a wave, you stand firm and allow the volatility to simply pass over you. Encouraging a child to be their own separate, autonomous person may feel like it threatens closeness, but it is actually the only way to form an authentic connection. Connection flourishes when an independent spirit feels safe enough to exist exactly as they are within the unshakable container you provide.